Give me just a second. My camera a little crooked. I'll be there in just a sec. There we go, there we go, there we go. A little bit better, a little bit better. Give me just a second, everybody, and we'll get started. What's up, Chris Johnson? Yes, patience is key. Patience is key. I'm gonna do one more thing here before we get started. One more second. Almost ready. All right, so here we go. Appreciate everybody. I don't know what's my chair doing. My chair keeps like sliding to one spot. But what's up, everybody? Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, covering Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And if you have not done so, please check out my interview that I did just Thursday with wide receiver Shi Smith. Again, if you have not done so already, please check out my one-on-one interviews that I love to do, that you guys love to watch. Have started back, and I interviewed wide receiver Shi Smith on Thursday on the field at Bank of America Stadium. It was pretty cool because I have never done an interview on the field, so that was pretty cool. And then I threw in my customary game challenge at the end, which I won't tell you what it was and what we did because I'm asking you to check it out. Next thing I want to ask real quick is that you like the video. YouTubers ask for liking the video because it helps us grow. And if you help me grow, then I can do more work for you. I can have more player interviews. I can have more coaches interviews. All the stuff that you guys ask me to do. When I have more followers, more subscribers, it helps me to do that so much easier. So please take a moment and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so I can do more Panthers coverage for you guys. It costs you nothing to do so and it helps out so much. All right, so that's the intro. Let's go ahead and get into my information that I want to share with you guys today. Get you prepared for this Carolina Panthers versus New York Giants matchup. And also shout outs to your boys' technology working because you know what, the first 4 weeks of the season, I schedule a broadcast, it come on, it might have some bad sound, might have some of this, that, there's all kinds of issues. And appreciate the patience of everybody because it's now been worked out. And we're actually going to continue to make some more improvements now that we got things stable. So let me go ahead and get my notes in front of me to get started with this show with you guys. And real quickly, what's up, Chris Johnson, B. Evans, J. Love, Brad Holt, disgruntled Panthers fan. What's up to everybody that's out there watching, and I can't wait to see what the disgruntled Panthers fan has to say. So, all right, let me get my notes in front of me. We're going to first start with some transactions. Hopefully I'll get this right. Let's see. All right, so transactions for this Carolina Panthers team since Friday. I always like to do this, even though if you watch on Twitter, you may have seen it. Not surprisingly, since we had we had a lot of wide receivers that concussion and are out. I know I'm going to be going over the inactives, but we have Marshall that's out. We had Erickson with a concussion, and that all of these injuries caused Shi Smith to be elevated. I'm sorry, not to be elevated, but to be our number 3 wide receiver today. But anyway, no surprise they're having Keith Kirkwood and Aaron Parker elevated from the practice squad. Those are practice squad COVID elevations, which means these guys will automatically revert back to the practice squad on Monday. We also signed running back Amir Abdullah. So Abdullah comes to us from the Minnesota Vikings. He was released by them, and we signed him. You know, guys like this, in my opinion, they're just quick fixes. They're kind of band-aids for the situation, unless he has something outstanding that he does in a game. I don't suspect a guy like this to be on the roster too long, at least not on the 53-man roster, but that is the current transaction. We also designated defensive back Miles Hartford to return from injured reserve. So he is a defensive back that mostly played nickel for us. Also last year played a little bit of tailback or practice at that position to give us some depth in that area. So the designated to return means that the 21-day window now opens for us to activate him back on our roster. And he was at practice on Friday. I don't know what his status was for Saturday, but he's a person that's progressing to being able to return to some action for the Carolina Panthers team. So got some questions that have come so far on the show. Please continue to leave those questions. I just have some scheduled information that I want to go through for you guys, and then all your questions that you're leaving and typing now, I will get to. So Carolina Panthers today are taking on the New York Giants. Carolina Panthers are currently 3-3. We won 3 games in a row, and then unfortunately we lost 3 games in a row, bringing us to that 3-3. Most recently losing to the Minnesota Vikings in overtime, 34-28. The New York Giants, who we are by most people, industry bets, and all that stuff. New York Giants are 1-5. They most recently lost a game to the Los Angeles Rams, 38-11. And just like the Carolina Panthers are dealing with some injuries, the New York Giants have a plethora of injuries also to their superstar running back, Saquon Barkley, who is going to be out for today. These teams have played each other 11 times, and most famously, it's slipping my mind when I go to say it, but the big old tussle between, I can't think of it, Josh Norman. Man, I don't know why that was slipping my mind. Josh Norman and Odell last time up in New York. Carolina leads this series, one of the few, I think this is actually the first series that I can report to you guys that the Panthers lead. Out of the 11 times they played, Carolina leads 7-4, so hopefully that'll be 8-4 after today. And currently the Carolina Panthers are in 3rd place in the division. Not exactly in playoff position. Laughing at some of the comments. I'm going to quickly show one, but I like to split up going over all the comments here. Let me see if I can show this one comment right here. Uh-oh. That's not what I want to do. Let's see if I got everything timed up and working correctly. Chilling, waiting on the show. Patience is key. Chris, patience is key. Appreciate you waiting, but I'm here going through the show with you guys. So I got a couple interesting facts that I want to share with you about today's matchup. Fact numero uno. Chuba Hubbard is our running back right now. He's been carrying the load since Christian McCaffrey has been out. Christian was most recently, as of last Saturday, put on IR. So after the game today, that puts Christian McCaffrey with one more game that he will be out, definitely out. Chuba Hubbard, meanwhile, in his absence, has been doing pretty good. He has racked up 281 rushing yards, which makes that good for second among rookies. So 281 yards rushing by Chuba Hubbard gives him good enough for second for NFL rookies, which is pretty good, pretty outstanding. Wide receiver DJ Moore leads the team with 73 receiving yards on 5 receptions. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading this incorrectly. He led the team last week with 73 receiving yards on 5 catches. And through week 6, he ranks as 7th in the NFL in receiving yards with 513, tied for fifth with receptions for 40. So once again, DJ Moore leads, not leads, but is in seventh place right now with 513 receiving yards and fifth place with receptions with 40. Hey, God of Blackness, thank you so much for your contributions. Take a moment to say that we are the only independent media that's covering the Carolina Panthers like we are, meaning that we are not owned by any big old company. It's just me, and we are 100% supported by your contributions, your donations, whether you give $1, whether you give $5, and that money helps. You know, I haven't talked about the push that much because we had a lot of technical difficulties early on, but you will hear me talking about that more. We also have an online store where you can buy some merchandise to support us. And currently, I need to buy a microphone for Lauren for our live show. So that's like a $200 purchase that I got to make coming up. And God of Blackness just gave $5. Hey, I can assure you it's going to go straight to that. I actually ordered some more equipment today that's coming. If you have watched the Shi Smith interview, you notice there's a little bit of static that comes and goes. So just ordering some more equipment so I can monitor those sound levels so that you guys can have a really great experience whenever you're watching any broadcast from Charlotte Vibe, and donations help for that. So continuing to move on with my interesting facts. Did you know, like at one point earlier this season, Sam Darnold led the league in rushing touchdown? He no longer does that as our offense has taken a nosedive, but we still have a ranking that I want to share with you all in regards to rushing touchdowns. And that is, we have rushed for 8 touchdowns this season, which ties for fourth in the league. So that's my last interesting fact. 8 touchdowns for the Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold is our leading touchdown by rush person, and we are currently tied for fourth in the league. So that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. I'm liking the comments that are coming through. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Once I am through with my spiel of getting you all the information that I want to share with you for today's game, we're going to spend some time going through your comments, and I'm going to put them on the screen. So I encouraged this before, which is if you have an image in your YouTube, or if you don't, please add one, because that way when I put up your comments on the screen, we'll be able to kind of know you, get to know each other. I love getting to know my supporters. And hey, you guys can see my face, so I think it's only fair that you consider allowing me to see your face to connect with you guys. I might need to ask for some water for my wife, because I always forget to get me some. All right, so let's go over the current top 10 NFL rankings. And unfortunately, for the second week in a row, we do not have any top 10 rankings on the offensive side. Again, we've had a slide that ever since that losing streak has started, it's been pretty much indicative of what's been happening on our offense as our offense continues to slide. So we do not have any top 10 offensive NFL rankings for me to report, but we do still have some on the defensive side. So I'm going to pull those up and begin to go through that. All right, so on the defensive side, total, I'm going to pause here because I don't know if that's the exact right. Let me make sure this is the exact right graphic before I had this on the screen. Give me just a second. Okay, yep. It is indeed the correct graphic. So let me get it back up on the screen for you. Total yards allowed per game, 308 yards, or what our defense is allowing per game. Good enough for third. You know, that's actually pretty impressive considering against Minnesota, we allowed almost 600 yards. A crazy amount, But nevertheless, we've been doing so good that that number is still good enough for a top 10 ranking. Passing net yards per game, we're allowing other teams to throw the ball 196 yards. That's good enough for second overall in the NFL. Sacks, something that has slowed down for us tremendously. I mean, I think we had 14 through the first 3 or 4 games, so we've only gotten two. So basically, it slowed down tremendously. And Brian Burns, I hope you are able to figure out a way to get past some of the schemes that they're now doing against you to slow you down because, I mean, getting pressure on the quarterback is big for us. But we're currently 16 sacks on the season, good enough for sixth place overall in the NFL. Our third down efficiency, meaning how many times are we letting teams convert on third downs? We're only allowing them to convert on 29.6 of those attempts, which is good enough for second in the NFL. And then points allowed per game. This number has gone up just a little bit, going up to being 20.2 points per game that we are allowing teams to get. So those are some of your top 10 rankings on both sides of the ball. I'm getting closer to being able to go through some of your comments and questions. So please continue to post those questions in the comments, and I will be getting to them extremely shortly here. All right, so my last thing are some things that we want to be on the lookout for today. Let me see if we got these inactive. So I actually want to throw that in here if we have that, which I'm pretty sure they're probably out by now. All right, yeah, we do have the inactive list out. So give me a second. I'm going to pull that up and share with everybody here. Give me just a moment, getting this inactive list typed up so I can put it on the screen for you here. All right. And by the way, during the game, give me just a second, I can get this corrected here. During the game, you can stay in touch with me on Twitter. So you see, I just put up my Twitter information on the screen. It's simply Charlotte Vibe online at Twitter, for in case you want to keep in touch with me in the game and follow along with me. All right, so let's go ahead and go over these inactives for today. No surprise with most of these inactives. Linebacker Shaq Thompson is inactive. We have wide receiver Terrace Marshall, who is inactive. Fullback Giovanni Ritchie is inactive. Tackle Cameron Irving, he is inactive, which we knew yesterday because he did not make the trip with the team up to New York. So that was a definite indication that he was going to be inactive today. Defensive tackle Phil Hoskins is inactive. We also have defensive end Daryl Johnson, who's inactive. We have cornerback Rashawn Melvin. He is also inactive. So that just gives a confirmation. The wide receivers that I mentioned earlier that have been elevated, Keith Kirkwood, and I forget the other one off the top of my head, they're active for today's game. That's not surprising to add some depth. And you'll likely see some of these guys on special teams as well. And also mention that tackle Cameron Irving is out. So that goes back to Brady Christensen getting the start at left tackle. And Taylor Moton will be at right tackle. All righty. So offensive line changes. We just talked about one there. Brady Christensen will be getting his start. So going to certainly be watching him closely. And that's something to watch is our offensive line and our receivers. A lot of changes on both of those parts. And then, I mean, the offense as a whole is a big thing to watch today because you also have Matt Rule, who started talking about this, honestly, 2 weeks ago, and that he wanted to have 24, 25 rushes. He said he doesn't feel like that's enough. Wants to have more like 30, 35 rushes. But this week he was more emphatic about saying the team's identity is going to be having an emphasis on the run. I know they're not going to all of a sudden turn into the Baltimore Ravens and lead the league in rushing and just become this super big powerhouse for rushing, but rushing will be definitely done a lot more than it has been in the past. So that's something that you want to watch for today for sure. And then I forgot to go over some things here. Uh-oh, which ties into what I got right now. So, hey, so a lot of connections. So what I was about to tell you was that former cornerback James Bradbury is going to be, he plays for the New York Giants, and he's likely going to be following DJ Moore around the field today. So that's something to watch for, is that matchup there. These two, of course, have some familiarity with each other from their time here in Carolina. Both are very good NFL players, so that'll be something fun to watch. But it just made me to remember that I forgot to tell you all the notable connections, which is just another little fun fact. So I'll run through it really quickly. Carolina Panthers have two players that formerly were on the New York Giants. That's safety Sean Chandler, and then also tight end Colin Thompson. They both previously played for the New York Giants. I'm getting tongue-tied as I try to rush through these really quickly. And then on the New York Giants side, some guys that I personally, just as a person, like quite a bit. Cornerback James Bradbury now plays for the New York Giants, and also kicker Graham Gano plays for the New York Giants. And Graham Gano recently talked about, when he was in Carolina, he feels like they misdiagnosed an injury for him that could have been career-ending. Sorry, very wrong comment there. Graham Gano said that he feels like it would have been career-ending, the injury that they misdiagnosed for him here in Carolina. But when he went up to New York, got the proper analysis on that injury, got the proper thing fixed, and now he's been having a very successful tenure with the New York Giants. Staff-wise, we have our head coach, Matt Rule, who spent one season as, I believe, the offensive lineman coach for the Giants many, many years ago. He spent one season on the Giants coaching staff roster. And then we have Chase Blackburn, who played for Carolina and is now currently our special teams coordinator. Chase actually won a couple Super Bowls with the New York Giants back in the day. So those are a few of your connections. And that is all that I have from my list. Thank you guys for patiently waiting for me to get through that. And now for the fun part of going through your questions. Let me see if I can ask somebody to bring me something to drink. All righty. So time for the question and answers from you guys. Fun part. Here we go. Make sure everything's up and showing properly. What's up, Chris? What's going on, Chris Johnson? Appreciate you logging in. And then my man with the airplane. Hey, B, since I believe you said that you do have a pilot's license. Is that correct? Byron Evans. Is it Byron Evans? I don't know where Byron Evans comes from. If so, man, we gotta, maybe we can work out something where you help me get to a game this season with your flying abilities. But what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, B Evans. J Love Inc. Let me see if I can make this text just a little bit bigger for everybody to see. Let's get this win. Too much money on the offensive line. Okay. That's how you feel. Let the people know. Brad Holt. Are you looking forward to seeing how much? I don't know which screen I want to look at. Sorry. Are you looking forward to see how much Coach Rule responds to the offensive woes from the last 3 games? Hey, I appreciate you using my word of woes that I now have everybody saying, because Coach didn't like it the first time I said woes. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what we're doing on the offense. It's, every game is a must win, so I hate to say that famous term of must win. But I sure hope it happens, because you losing I'm about to go on a tangent about this game. But looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to seeing how much more we use Chuba Hubbard. Looking forward to seeing how Brady Christensen responds to his second game with significant time on an offensive line. We brought in another running back. We have Shi Smith, who actually can play a little running back for us. We have coach talking about all week how we're going to run the ball and have that as part of our identity. And honestly, I think Sam Darnold should be the most happy because if we are able to get some kind of running game a little bit more established than we have been in the past, then maybe he'll be able to get some wide receivers open a few more times under a little less pressure than in the past, and we can get back into the win column. So I'm absolutely looking forward to that. Joe Brady about to make this game closer than it should be. Let's hope he does not do that. It shouldn't be that close in the first half. Broken record here, but the test will really come from, will he make it a close game in the second half? Some bad news here. Bad news from Taylor Styles. Taylor, you got a T up there. It's better than nothing, but consider taking a photo. Not gonna lie, I've lost all confidence in this team and have no expectations to win the rest of the season. So I haven't lost all confidence. I do expect competitive games. I don't expect an incredible run of, let's see, we played 6, so that means we have 11 games. I don't expect some crazy run of like 8-3 for the remainder of the season. I do expect some competitive games. Overall, I expect some competitive games because that's the one thing that I think, and I would encourage you to have some confidence and optimism in this team is that we have not had blowouts. We're not losing by 30 points, 21 points. All these games have been pretty close. And I know you might say, well, yeah, we came back in the end. Yeah, you got to give credit for that. Credit for us not giving up and just totally getting hit in the chin and falling out in one of these games. Again, shouts out to God of Blackness, who's always very supportive of us monetarily. I appreciate it much. And hey, you don't have to donate, have to give anything financially. You can always just hit the like button. Again, that helps us grow, helps us do more, helps me get more coaches and players on the show. All right. Here's a comment that I want everybody to chime in on. So I'm going to read it pretty quickly and then talk about it. Chime in on the fact that B. Evans is saying that we should move on from Christian McCaffrey. So I want you all to chime in. Let me hear what you have to say about that comment of moving on from Christian McCaffrey. He'll be a gun shy to run extremely hard after a hamstring injury. So I don't feel like Christian McCaffrey, will have any kind of gun shyness at all. I don't feel like that's part of him. Now, could his hamstring be, could he get hurt again? Yeah, he could get hurt again. And you're starting to wonder how much damage has been done to Christian. I've always said that I feel like a good thing is that his injuries are happening to different parts of his body. For what that's worth, I have no medical background to say that other than just my opinion. But I have said that I hope that Fitterer hadn't put this into action yet, but that he has a little note on the back of his book about things to do, and that's changes with Christian McCaffrey as far as his role on this team long term. I hope he's at least thought about that privately to himself. All right, so we got a question here. Christian McCaffrey is on injured reserve. Do you know how long he will be out? So Christian McCaffrey went on injured reserve last Saturday. So that meant his first game being out was against the Minnesota Vikings. Game number 2 will be the New York Giants. Game number 3 will be the Atlanta Falcons. So he has 2 more games, or you could say 1 more game, excluding today, that he will be out definitely on injured reserve. It could turn into more, but that is when he first becomes eligible, is after 1 more game, excluding today. So I hope you follow along and understand when Christian McCaffrey will be back. And here's a comment from Brad Holt saying that he heard that James Bradberry may be on the trading block. So I haven't heard that, not to say that that's not true, but I know that James has restructured his contract with New York at least 2 times this season, which is a lot. Normally it doesn't happen. If it happens 1 time, that's, a little news item. But James Bradberry has restructured his contract twice to help give the New York Giants some more cap room, to give them some more flexibility to sign some players, to help with all the injuries that they have been dealing with. I think it would be a little wrong for them to put him on a trading block after he's been nice enough to let his contract be restructured so that they can have some more flexibility on the roster. Ali Broderick says, welcome back. Yes, appreciate you tuning in. B. Evans talking about the Gano misdiagnosis. Sounds like some Any Given Sunday stuff. I remember your one-on-one with him. Great interview. Yeah, that was a lot of fun playing with him. Lots of fun. And man, this guy is got to give mad shouts to God of Blackness for his donation. I believe this is your second one during the show. Hey, God of Blackness, you're going to be personally responsible for the new equipment that we're able to get. And I was going to see if I could show you something, but because I got stuff all over the place here as far as all the technology we use. But God of Blackness, thank you so much. I mentioned earlier that we're trying to get a microphone so that Lauren and I can both be holding a microphone during our pregame show. Makes things a little easier, as well as our postgame show. And my man, God of Blackness, has stepped up with $20 in donations so far for this chat right here. So appreciate it. And let me go ahead and get to his questions. How much of a difference do you think offensive lineman Michael Jordan will make for us? So, yeah, Michael Jordan was, man, he came to this team, then he was elevated to the 53-man roster, then he was let go, and then he's been brought back. And he is he's currently active for today, so he could get some substitutions in there. You know, right now, I don't feel like these guys that are coming in last minute. When I say last minute, I'm sorry, I should say that's on the team, off the team. I feel like they're marginal guys. And I have hope that they'll be able to kind of like fill in a temporary need, but I don't feel like guys in this situation, the way that Michael Jordan's come off, practice squad, 53-man roster, I don't feel like we can count on them yet to be a solid piece, a solid replacement on the offensive line. Certainly I'm going to be cheering for him today, but I wouldn't hang my hat on saying like this guy could be an answer in the future. And also I have to say that we don't get to see these guys practicing anymore. So I don't have any inside information there that I've seen him in practice, and I've seen some talents that hopefully we can get up to speed where he can be really, really good. So I'll keep my eye out on it. My expectation for Michael Jordan is that he's just solid and able to help us get through some games, but not a good long-term solution for us as of yet. Good question. Appreciate it. As always, God of Blackness, everything that you do for us. Brandon, so I called you Byron. So Brandon Evans, but I'll call you B. Evans from here. He says you fly constantly out of Montgomery, Alabama. Man, I'm in Charlotte. That's a little far away from me, but if ever there's a chance for us to meet anybody that's watching, please let me know. Let's do this. All right, why did they decide to use Brady Christensen at left tackle after saying that they won't? Well, a good reason. One thing is coaches are always evaluating things, and things change. You know, Brady may have looked kind of one way, and then he had a good week of practice, and they said, well, you know, maybe we can go ahead and give him an opportunity. One thing about Brady is that we did spend a draft pick on him. I believe he was a third rounder, or please don't chew me up in the comments because I don't have it in front of me, but I know he was one of our first 3 picks. And to me, a guy that's one of your first 3 picks in a draft at offensive line at a place where we really seriously need help, then you give him that opportunity. So my guess is that he had he had a pretty good week. But, you know, Coach Rule said to us Wednesday that, was it Wednesday? I'm trying to get it in my head. It might have been Friday. So I'm not sure, but either Wednesday or Friday. It was Friday. Okay, it was Friday because Cameron Irvin was out with the sickness on Wednesday, then out with no, out with an injury on Wednesday, out with the illness on Thursday, and on Friday, Coach Matt Rule mentioned to us that he was ready to roll with Brady in the event that Cameron Irving wasn't able to go. So that's another reason why they decided to give him a chance at that side because of Cameron Irving's injury. Appreciate the question, Panther Rules. And thank you for bearing with me as I try to go through in my head all the sequence of events that led to us to where we are right now. Anthony Rochelle logging in, saying go Panthers. He's excited for the game today. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And then Panthers Rule, you got a comment here that I'm not fully understanding 100%. If the contract issues, yep, so not exactly sure there. We'll come back to it if you want to send me another comment. We need to use CMC as a slot receiver to save his career. Nah, that guy's a running back. He wouldn't let you switch him to slot receiver. We just need to continue to get him some help. And yeah, and see. Anthony Rochelle's been a fan since 1995. It's a long time, long time. Hey, Ali Bodrick. Have I been saying your name wrong all this time? Ali Bodrick. Did I say it right? Hey, appreciate the super chat very, 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 very much. Do you think we will see the double trouble run strategy? Nah, no, I don't see the double trouble. That is famous from when we had D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Those guys were sensational double trouble running backs, just killing it for years and years and years as a tandem out the backfield. Nah, I don't see that. Number one, we have a very good wide receiver corps right now to, get the guys Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore the ball. As long as, as well as some of our guys that have gotten hurt. Terrace Marshall was coming up before he had his concussion, has been out. We're going to get a chance to see what Shi Smith and some other ones get to do today. I'm laughing at a comment that just came through. I'm going to get to it. I'm not going to jump ahead. So, and man, you just made me forget, God of Blackness, where I was at, what I was talking about. The double trouble. So Chuba Hubbard has been a pretty great asset. I read a stat earlier where he, I believe, has 281 yards rushing. Good enough for the second most of a rookie in the NFL. So I believe that he will strongly get and should get majority of the carries. So 70% plus about of the carries by Chuba. And then because we are going to run the ball more, Chuba may need a break. Then that's when the other running backs will come in and give him a break. But I don't see us having 40 rushes today and Chuba having 30 and somebody else having 15 or anything close to that. So appreciate the question, though. No double trouble, but lots of runs today. Brad Holt says Michael Jordan was responsible for 2 of the sacks on Darnold last week. Let's see. B. Evans with the super chat, Charlotte vibe all day. Appreciate. Hey, I want to ask, have you guys seen my Shi Smith interview? Did anybody see it? Have you watched it? I'm going to bring it up just for a second in case you haven't, so that you will go and check it out and watch it. Let's see here. We're going to bring it up for a split second. Because I was proud. I was happy to get back to the one-on-one interviews. And as always to say, as soon as I know who my one-on-one interview will be for this week, I will let you all know, because I want you all to send me your questions so that I can ask those questions for you. Uh-oh. I think I hit too many buttons real quickly on the computer. Give me just a second. Do that right there. See if it comes up. And boom. So happy to be back doing these one-to-one videos, one-on-one videos, I'm sorry. And have my man Shy Smith. That is, I was like, wow, okay. So I didn't know about your punt return. What do you think when you hear that from Coach? And tell me about your punt return history.
Just hearing that from Coach, like at practice, he used to like
My bad, my bad, my bad. The sound. I forgot to hit the sound back from when I played the Shy Smith interview. So I'm sorry. Let me go back for a second. Thanks, B. Evans, for the support. Thanks, God of Blackness, for the donations to help with the microphones. You will absolutely see this. Sorry, I did not see that I had turned my audio off. I didn't actually have to. That was my bad, trying to do too much, throwing in that Shy Smith interview at the last second. So my apologies. Uh, Bodrick is how you say Ali's name, Ali Bodrick. So I appreciate that there. I also talked about Robbie Anderson. Do you think he'll bounce back today and have more catches than drops? Yes, I think he will bounce back today and have more catches than drops. Both he, Robbie Anderson, and Sam Darnold are returning home, if you will, to the Giants Stadium. The Giants and the Jets share the same place, so I think that's going to be a motivating thing for those guys to say, "Hey, I'm back. I want to show out. I want to have a good day in front of my old crowd and my old stadium." So I feel like we will have a good performance from Robbie Anderson today. thank you guys for letting me know that I lost the sound. All right. So again, that was my bad there with me hitting the button. That was not any technical difficulties. All right. So Ed Baker Sport Desk said, whatever happens, it's just a game. Yeah. So please don't get too upset. Don't go breaking your televisions. Don't go burning your jerseys if we lose. Today is just meant to be entertainment. Yes, I want them to win, but yes, get a little note there. Remember, sometimes it's just a game. If we lose, we are in super trouble. I'm gonna make this real big. If we lose, we are in so yeah, man. If we lose, I don't even want to talk about it, but I just want to win your read your comment. If we lose, all right. Moon Everlasting said the Panthers win. Pretty cool graphic there. Can't tell exactly what it is, but it's colorful. Chuba is all right. Not sure of that comment there, but nevertheless, we will continue to go through it all. All right, all right, all right. So that takes me through all of the questions. I'll give you guys just another minute or two to see if anybody has any comments that they want to put on up. And if so, I will read them. But tremendous pregame show. I appreciate that everybody that has tuned in. And we're playing the Giants today. We'll be on the road against Atlanta next week. I will be traveling to Atlanta to check out that game, and we'll be live pregame from Atlanta, so definitely look forward to that. I'll also have a player that I'm working on, player and or coach. I'm working on a few different stories this week, and once I get the information on who and when, I'll be sharing that with you. So please, if you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter so I'll let you all know then who I will be interviewing and give you all a chance to send me some questions, which I will ask that player or coach. And score predictions. Man, Lauren is the one who normally does the score predictions. I don't do score predictions. It's hard for me to do score predictions. I'm always going to say I hope that I win. I'm not going to lie about when I'm a homer. I'm hoping that we win. I feel like we could win. And if anything changes, there's always a point in the game, though, where I feel like our defining point for if we're going to win or lose a game. So I will point that out if that happens today during the game versus the New York Giants. So I'm going to wrap up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in sincerely. Biggest contributions by far that I've had in a game. So I appreciate that. I will see you guys post game. I'm not sure yet whether the post game will be live or recorded, but nevertheless, make sure you hit your notifications so you'll see that. Appreciate it much. Again, sincerely. Let me put this on the screen for you one more time for those that are watching. That's how you can follow me on Twitter. Everything is at Charlotte Vibe. Chris Jenkins, let's go.